Hello guys, hello people, welcome back to this YouTube channel K&G TV, where we do celebrity news and social media wahala. Welcome to watch this video till the end. I saw it on the internet and thought it wise to bring it up for us. Do watch it and write on the comment section what you think about the video. All opinions do count, and please, if you like what I do in this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notification for all updates. I'll see you in my next video. As of now, I'm out. One love.
They found him in possession of Nigerian passport, which is not the case. He traveled with a British passport, which I've given you the numbers right now. All right, we must continue. We are reliably informed that while he was on said overseas travel, he was intercepted in Kenya by Nigeria's foreign security agents and brought to Nigeria against his will on or about 27 June 2021 and arraigned before the Federal High Court in Abuja without benefit of counsel on June 29, 2021. I mean, how do you arraign somebody before the court of law without a legal representative? That is a violation of that person's fundamental human right, because the law says, international law says, every law says, accused should be entitled to a legal representative. Currently, he is being detained in the custody of the Directorate of State Security Service, DSS, in Abuja. Your Excellency, permit us to point to a few legal, political, and diplomatic issues that have been implicated in this matter. All right, we must continue. Your Excellency, permit us to point a few legal, political, and diplomatic issues that have been implicated in this matter. They are: 1. Mr. Kanu is a British citizen who was traveling on a valid British passport when he was seized in a third country and forcibly brought to Nigeria. Such acts constitute an unlawful rendition of a bona fide British citizen. You don't abduct a British citizen who is on a transit or who is traveling to another country and take him to another country. It is not done. It is not done. It is against international law. It is against every human right law that we know of. Secondly, he was not traveling on Nigerian passports. They said they caught him in possession of a Nigerian passport, which is a lie. He was not traveling on Nigerian passport or the passport of any other country, including that of Kenya. There is no extant order of extradition by any British court or any other foreign court, including Kenya. And we are informed that there is no pending extradition proceedings standing against him in Britain or Kenya. You don't abduct somebody from one country to another without going through the courts, without going through the legal system. You cannot do that. It is not done. The reason why is so that actions such as this should be controlled through the legal system. The law wants to know, why are you taking this person? Are you taking him based on extradition order or extradition proceedings or extradition agreement between your country and that country? If that is the case, what is your case? So that the court can decide whether you should progress with such extradition order or not. But those things were ignored. They were flaunted because the zoo is a lawless country. And then, of course, Kenya, they are cahoots. African leaders know, hungry of money. They are willing to do undo. But heads shall roll in this one. So, this letter is saying that there is no extant order of extradition. The zoo government did not approach Kenya and say, this is the extradition order. Do you approve? Can we take him? But then, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not go to Kenya on exile. He did not run to Kenya as a refugee who is running away from Nigeria. He is a British citizen who is passing through Kenya or who might have visited Kenya. And therefore, nobody have the right to come and abduct him because you cannot do that. It is not allowed. Number one is this: you are violating the right of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. At the same time, you are violating the sovereignty of Britain as a nation, because you neglected them, you insulted them, and you abduct their citizens who is in possession of their passport without prior notice or prior warning. Because if you wanted him for anything, you should approach the British authority and say, this your citizen committed 1 or 2, 3 crimes. We want him. Can you approve this extradition? Then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been arraigned before a British court, before a competent court of law, in front of a presiding officer in the form of a magistrate or a judge who will hear the matter and make a ruling whether he should be extradited to the zoo or not. So there is no extant order of extradition by any British court or any other foreign court, including Kenya. And we are informed that there is no pending extradition proceedings standing against him in Britain or Kenya. The zoo is in trouble, I can tell you that. There is no deportation order by any Kenyan court or other authority that made him subject to deportation. Assuming the Kenya authority arrested our leader and said, no, you don't have a visa to Kenya. You are here illegally. Therefore, we will deport you from wherever you are coming. They will deport him straight to Britain. I don't know if you understand. They will deport him straight to Britain. Do you know where you are right now? If you are let's assume you are a Biafran citizen and you went to Canada. Maybe you live in let me assume you live in Malaysia, and then you went to Canada. You went to Canada with I'm just trying to get this right. Yes, you went to Canada with a Malaysian passport, but they know you are not Malaysian by birth, but you are Malaysian by citizenship. And they say to you, no, we don't allow you into Malaysia. We are into, what country am I talking about? Canada. Yes, you travel from Malaysia to Canada with a Malaysian passport. And they say to you, no, we don't allow you into Canada. We are going to deport you. But then they realize, yes, you have Malaysian passport, but your originality by birth is another country. They cannot deport you to that country of birth. It's none of their business. What concerns them and what matters to them is the passport in your possession. That is where they are taking you back to. If you have a Nigerian passport, they will take you back to Nigeria and nobody will question them because that is what they found in your possession. If you have a Malaysian passport, they must take you back to Malaysia. Because if they don't, Malaysian government will inquire of their citizen. Where did you take our citizen to? Then it will become abduction or kidnapping. Because when you take a British citizen from Kenya to Nigeria, instead of taking him back to Britain, you have abducted him. You have kidnapped him. There cannot be any arrest justified under law like that. I am a lawyer. I know what I'm talking about. It makes that arrest, if you call it an arrest, becomes unlawful. Because in order for arrest to be lawful, there have to be a warrant of arrest. A warrant of arrest issued by a competent court. And if it's within that same country, say our leader was in Nigeria, then of course, any high court in the zoo or magistrate court can issue that warrant. And then the person will be arrested within the borders of the same country. But if he is not in the zoo called Nigeria, but he is in another country, let's assume, for interest's sake, our leader has a zoo passport and he is in Kenya. Still, no court in the zoo can issue a warrant of his arrest to be arrested in Kenya. It is not done under law. What the law requires of the zoo then to do is to do what? Write an extradition application proceedings They will write a extradition application proceedings and forward it to Kenya. And then the Kenyan Justice Department will have a look at that extradition, procedure. And there are things they need to consider. Number one, they need to ask themselves, do we have extradition agreement with Nigeria? Does such agreement exist? Does such bilateral agreement exist? If such agreement exists, that is number one. Then it will be tick. Good. Then the second one is, the person you are looking for is the person right here in Kenya. And then they found that, yes, he's in Kenya. Tick. Number two. Then number three, this person you are looking that is in Kenya, is he your citizen or a citizen of another country? What passport is he in possession of? And then they realize he is possessing a Nigerian passport. Then they will tick. Then good. But if they realize he is not in possession of a Nigerian passport, they will ask question, but why are you looking for another country's citizens? Why are you looking for a citizen that is not your citizen? I mean, it's like going to a hospital to steal a baby that is not your baby. That is abduction. You're going to a country, to the hospital, you see another man's baby and you take them. It's not your baby. That is abduction. That is basically what they did. So they will check and see if this person is your citizen. If that person is your citizen, then all good. Then the next step is this. They will go through it, and then of course they have to honor it because they have an agreement, an extradition treaty with you, with your country. So what they're going to do is to arrest that person. Listen, they can't just take him and give it to you. No. Are you listening? Kenya cannot just take the person and give it to the zoo because they have extradition agreements. No. They still have to take that person, arrest him, take him to the police station, and then charge him to court for extradition hearing proceedings. Are you listening? For extradition hearing proceedings. Why are they doing that? There is something called human rights. Human fundamental rights. It is called an opportunity given to an accused person to give their own side of the story, because there is always two sides of a story. You cannot just bungled him because the zoo said he's wanted and then you catch him, you throw him to the zoo. No, it's not done. If you do it, you are violating international law. You need to put him through that extradition proceedings. Take him to a court, a competent court. Then the magistrate will ask the zoo, why do you want this man? The zoo will say, no, because he's a thief. He did this. He called Buhari a pedophile. He did that. All these lousy excuses. And then you give those excuses. And then they will ask the person you want to extradite, you've heard the charges against you. How do you plead? And the person will say, not guilty. And then once he says not guilty, remember it is not a trial. Like your normal trial. It's not a trial. So it's not like Kenya court is going to now decide the case. No. But what they're trying to establish is this. Is this person a citizen of that country? If he is, does that country have a good human rights record? How are we sure that if we send him to that country, he's not going to die? Does that country have a death penalty as a sentence? All those things are the things they will decide. Now, when they realize that this country does not practice democracy, this country does not have human rights, then that person will now have a case. The same person can even apply for refugee status, asylum status in that country. Now, the same country will not have the power or the right to extradite you, even though they have an agreement with that country, because now your life is at stake. Remember, you'll be represented in the same trial, in the same extradition proceeding trial by your own lawyer in that country. I'm trying to take you through the process of how these things works, so that when you hear all these lies, you can be able to defend yourself. You can be able to tell them they're talking rubbish. Because you see the zoo, all these educated illiterates. Oh, arrested, he was arrested. They never ask themselves question, how does this work? Can we actually arrest somebody in another country? They still have no power. They have no local standing in any court to arrest somebody. I'm just talking this thing in the sense, let's assume Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a zoo citizen. Let's assume that's the way I'm putting it now, before we get to the level of him being a British citizen. So even if he's your citizen, the zoo, you have no right to go and arrest him in another country. Even if he's your citizen, you have no right. It's like I'm in South Africa. Nigerian government have no right to come here and arrest me at all. They have to go through the process. There is a rule that governs the universe. There is international laws and norms, conventions, agreement, bilateral agreement, and what have you. The world is not a banana republic. Everything is through process. A due diligence, a due process must be followed. I understand that the zoo is a zoo. There is no law. There is nothing works. But then the whole world operates on an insane law. So I cannot be arrested because I have a zoo passport. And then, assuming I have a zoo passport, I cannot be arrested by the zoo here in South Africa. They have to apply. And when they're applying, I'm relaxing. Nobody's going to touch me. They have to apply. And once the application has been approved, South African government will come for me. And when they come for me, they'll ask me to get my lawyer. I will get my own lawyer, a human rights lawyer, and we go to court here in South Africa. And if they win, then they will send me back to the zoo for trial. If I win, I will stay here still. This is how it works. It is all about human rights. Because human rights must be protected at all costs, at any time, at any given time. You cannot allow state terrorism. You cannot allow state bully to bully a common man, an ordinary man, because they have the resources, the power muscle, the money to bully their ways around and do whatever they like. This is why these laws are there. So, as I was talking, so it has to go through the court in Kenya first. If they win, then of course, that person will be now extradited back to the zoo. If they lose the case, the person can choose to stay in Kenya and apply for asylum, because now he is running for his life. All right. I'm taking my time to elaborate because we need to have knowledge. Knowledge is very, very important. So that when you hear people talking about these things, even though you're not a lawyer, you should be able to add one or two words. Even if you don't even say a word, you will know that they're talking nonsense. But if you don't know these things that I'm talking this morning, when you hear them talking, oh, we arrested Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you will run around with it. You know, when I heard this the first time, if you listen to my broadcast, my old broadcast I played this morning before I came on air, by that time, I haven't gotten the information of what happened. Now, the word I was using was abduction. Do you know why I was using abduction? I mean, Kanonta only came on air yesterday and spoke about how our leader was abducted. But before then, I've already used the word abduction. Do you know why I used it? Because I know law. I know you cannot arrest somebody in a different country that is not your country. It is only Kenyan government that have the right to arrest the person in their country. But when you say that the zoo, police, zoo security, whatever, arrested, that is rubbish. That is junk. There is no such word in law. You don't have the local standing. You don't have the jurisdiction to go and arrest somebody in a different country. No, you don't. Why do you think people get Interpol involved? Because Interpol have an international warrant. Interpol, when they get to that country, they have to liaise with the local security outfits and do the arrest. The Interpol don't really do it themselves. They get the security of that country to do the arrest and then hand the person over to them, because they cannot arrest a Kenyan citizen in Kenya. Even if you are Interpol, you cannot arrest any other citizen in a different country. You have to go through that country security and process. So that is it. Now you understand that our leader was not arrested. He was abducted because due process was not followed. If due process was followed, our leader wouldn't be in the zoo today. He will be back in Britain. That is number one. Remember, I'm talking about our leader, assuming he has the zoo passport. But now let's come back when our leader is a British citizen and he was in Kenya. Now listen to this. So basically what happened was this. You went to the airport, you bought a plane, and then you landed in a different country. When you got to that country, you know where people wait for the carousel to bring out their bags, their luggages. And people are picking their bag. When your own bag comes out, you say, okay, that's my bag, you pick it. And I hope you are listening to me. But now you are there in the airport, and then another person's bag comes out. It is not your bag. You went and take it. What were you doing? You are stealing. You are a thief. It is not your bag. It's somebody else's bag, but you took it. So what happened was this. Our leader was traveling with a British passport. He is a British citizen. He has no business with the zoo called Nigeria. He landed in Kenya. And then the zoo, in collusion with Kenyan authority, money exchange hand. And they abduct him because they know if we follow the due